Got it. Okay. Now we are ready. Good to see everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is the first time that we have done this little mini summit because we have so many people who understand that they need help in their business. They know that they need a virtual assistant, but they cannot for the life of them imagine what that would look like, what that would actually look like in their business. And when they see me talking, as I have been doing a lot of this week, in our challenge that we had in our webinar yesterday, I've been doing a lot of trainings, and people hear me talking a lot, and they see my examples, right? But they're like, that's great for you, but what about my industry? So what we've attempted to do is to find people in lots of different industries so that you could see, so it could spark some ideas for yourself in your own business. Okay, so I don't want to talk anymore. I want to hand this over to our first speaker, Salimah Mamdani. And Salimah is the founder and president of a successful 7-figure digital marketing agency based in Toronto. And the agency specializes in helping clients increase their leads and revenue through targeted marketing strategies. With years of experience in the industry, Salimah has assisted both international brands and local retail giants in selling furniture, appliances, decor, and tiles to premium clientele. Now she focuses on helping interior design professionals achieve similar success through her fully booked designer program. In this program, she teaches participants how to create a signature service, develop a signature marketing system, and take advantage of signature collaborations to build a thriving business and achieve the lifestyle of their dreams. Salimah went through the Front Row CEO program a while ago and had quite a bit of success. And so she's going to share with us how she works with her virtual assistant and just pull back the curtain for us. Welcome, Salimah.
I guess I should unmute myself. Thank you so much.
It's great. It's great for you. It's great to have you here. And I know you're so super busy and we're not going to keep you long, but can you share with us, we'll ask about your experience in the program, but more importantly, share with us, like, what are your VAs doing in your business and what secret?
I was going to say, Jen, I'm not that busy because I've got a front row VA through you. So
yeah, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right. Okay. So when I started working with our VA, Kathy, we had only wanted to engage like for 20, we wanted to get her commitment for like 20 hours a week. Because I had never worked with a virtual assistant before, I didn't know how I could offload work. And I'm used to working face-to-face with people. Interior designers are also very like, I'm not an interior designer, but the design work is very much like face-to-face, in person. And so I wasn't sure what I was going to offer Kathy to do. So initially she handled a lot of our, sales and marketing reporting type of work. She also then started helping us onboard our clients. And slowly her list of tasks grew to the point now she is working like 65 hours a week. Yeah. You're on mute.
My first time on Zoom. Just kidding. No, but doing what? She's like, what is she doing for 65 hours a week? My goodness.
I know it is a lot. Like, I was just like, wait a minute. So here's the good thing, because she is trained through your system as well, and she worked with Nika and the rest of your team. She knows how to schedule herself and also how to keep me abreast of what's going on. So every week, along with her invoice, she sends me a full list of the tasks that she's completed that week, as well as what's on her plate, like hot list, and then things that she can get to once the hot list is done. So to give you an example, she, like I said, she does all of the onboarding and offboarding, and we have like a 12-step process every time a new designer joins our program. There's a slew of things that need to be set up. She does all of this remotely. And if they have any challenges getting onto Kajabi with their password and stuff, Kathy's on it. So same thing with interior designers. If you're bringing in a new client and you're setting them up on MyDoma or design files, a VA can go through that entire process from the time that they have a contract signed to making sure that their invoicing is set up and that they're accessing the right materials, that they've got the right mood boards. So I'm just kind of translating what Kathy does to the world of interior designers. Hopefully that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that she does, like an amazing job of, is scheduling all of our daily email newsletters that go out and then translating that into social media posts. So she'll pull our daily newsletters and then, make it sound more like a social media copy rather than a formal email copy. She'll select the right image, or she'll create something on Canva, and then she'll schedule all of our social media posts as well. She's great at creating reels. She's also great at designing presentations for me whenever I'm speaking with a PowerPoint, or when we're like updating our clients' presentations and modules. So designers, again, client presentations, you can ask your VAs to take care of that. My goodness, what else? So lately, this is another challenge that I was looking for someone to just kind of test this new process, which is to set appointments for our sales team. So Kathy's actually taken that on as well. And I think that's a great, great role for designers to have in their team setup, is for someone to take on those discovery calls with potential clients, right? Asking the qualifying questions to make sure that you're getting the right person to speak with the head designer, and that you're not getting a lot of tire kickers wasting the head designer's time. In our case, we have a sales team who enrolls our clients now. And so Kathy also sets those appointments to make sure that we've got the qualified leads coming through the sales pipeline.
Okay, let me ask a follow-up question here. It's a two-part question. First question is, where is Kathy located?
Philippines.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me you have a VA halfway around the world where English is a second language, who is doing client-facing phone calls, Zoom meetings, screenings for you?
She doesn't do Zoom, although she can. She is very proficient.
Right.
I will tell you, that was one of my concerns too, about the language and the time zone. Don't forget, like 12-hour difference, because I'm in the East Coast time zone. It was a huge concern. How's this going to happen? And so she wakes up at 6. So her 6 p.m. is her 6 a.m. is our 6 p.m., which is a great time. As you know, we get a lot of telemarketing calls at that time. So she can cover East Coast all the way to Pacific time, North American. And it's fantastic. She's not working in the middle of the night, although she is more than willing to. She's like established her whole life schedule to suit that. And English was not a concern after we went through your process, the way you helped us, qualify the right candidate for us. We knew really well what her proficiency was with the English language. So, and then, it wasn't the first task I asked her to do, but now I would probably go through the process again if I wanted someone who was like a full-time appointment setter, going through that process that you have taught us.
Yeah. And I love that because, for everyone here who's not a designer, almost everyone here has to onboard a new client at some point. And wouldn't you agree, Salimah? And everybody listening, I'm sure will agree as well. Just, let me know in the chat. But 95% of our headaches can be eliminated if we take care of the front end. That onboarding piece is so crucial.
Important. That's buyer's remorse, right? Like, oh my God, what did I do? Did I do the right thing? I could have done this myself. So yes, that's the moment of truth from the time they give you the credit card, in our case, right? And then they get onboarded. We were finding that there were a lot of challenges. There was a lot of friction in that process. And we actually just had a team meeting where we we had like our team meeting on Monday, and I'm like, you know what? This is not the first time we're experiencing this problem. A lot of people are complaining they're not getting the password. Kathy got onto it. I didn't even like have to say anything. She did the whole flow, and she's like, oh yeah, this is where the problem is happening. This is what we need to fix. She sent me the revised process. It was done in 90 minutes after our meeting was over. Like, it was done. I didn't have to like even think about it.
Yeah, I love that. But even thinking like, one of my clients said to me the other day, and you know how she works with people to help them scale their businesses and have smart systems and all of that. And she said, you know, we all think of creating online courses, for example, as, you know, as a revenue stream, but it's a fantastic thing to do as an onboarding process, no matter what you are. And she gave the example of she went to a financial planner recently, and she had to have this Zoom call with the guy that went on for like, you know, 90 minutes of him sort of like educating her about just basic things and you know, asking her questions. And she made such a good point. She's like, you know, that could have been a little video or, you know, or something, a little mini course, whatever you want to call it, that you send to your new clients as part of the onboarding process. So by the time you get to the first meeting, all of that is already done. Instead, it was so much unnecessary back and forth. So I ask everybody here, like, what is your unnecessary back and forth that always comes up with a client, right? Like it's always something. It's something that you get the same questions, for example, you know, all the time. You could take all those questions. Your VA can take all of those questions, compile them into a nice little FAQ doc, and that becomes part of the welcome email to working with you, whatever your industry.
Absolutely. And for us, we had that. We have like, you know, how to get started and stuff like that. But sometimes you get so deep into a process, you don't see the challenges. So she came in with like a fresh perspective, right? Like basically going through this for the first time. And she's like, oh yeah, these are the challenges, that this is exactly where the funnel is broken or the system is broken. And like, it was fixed. Rather than me overthinking it, because I'm like, oh, this is what I was thinking of when I first created it. So it's not just like systemizing your process, but also every once in a while doing an audit and going, okay, where is this still effective?
Yes. I want to answer this question in the chat. And then, and my next question for you is going to be about the difference that you've seen in your overall productivity in your business and your efficiency since bringing Kathy on. But I want to answer Helen's question. So Helen in the chat says, hi, do you mind sharing where you hire your VA in the Philippines? I have gone through some agencies and quite frustrated and confused with the talent and expected salary. I believe the right candidate is the key to start. Well, Helen, the right candidate is everything. And that is what my system is all about, because that's it 100%. And how many times have, you know, plenty of people have tried to do this, and you post your job post and you get hit with 200 thoughtless replies of people who never read what you were even posting. They're not qualified, and it's exhausting. And by the time you get halfway done, you're like, forget it. It's not worth the trouble. So I always say, though, it's because it's not about where, it's not a specific place, although I do share, you know, where we do hire our VAs, but it almost really doesn't matter. It's more about the how. It's not where, it's how you do it. You have to be able to really know how to screen and vet efficiently without it costing you all day long. And that really is everything. So
just add to that,
please.
I don't want to take too much time talking about my experience or whatnot, but before I went through this process of Front Row CEO, I outsourced my outsourcing. Like, I hired an agency to help me find the candidates. So to your point, it's not the how, where, it's how you're actually going to go through this. So the outsourcing agency helped me narrow down the candidates. They had like this robust process. But by the time the person would start with us, I don't know, something got lost in translation, the way they explained what we did or whatnot. We went through 3 different people through this agency. And I'm like, okay, that's enough. Because every single time they would send us someone, we would interview them with our questions, the typical questions that you find on Google search, right? Tell me about your background, tell me your strengths, tell me your weaknesses. People lie, right? Or people will come up with the best answers to get the job. And that's what happened. And then when the rubber meets the road, they were not qualified to do the work. So we went through 3 rotations and countless hours and dollars spent on onboarding a VA. We're not hiring a neuroscientist here. And so that's when I discovered your process. And what the difference was in going through your process was that you're bringing forward people who actually want to work with you, and they are going to demonstrate their skills as well as their desire to want to be part of your team. And you then give us like a very objective way of tracking that, which was never like it. No one else ever teaches that. So then you have a candidate like Kathy come through who started out with 20 hours and is like now tracking at 60 hours and wants more. Like she actually wants to keep growing with us. So this is amazing the way you've laid it out.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we test skills along the way. And the other thing about the agency is this, like if you go through an agency where they're just going to match you, right? You could get lucky. Okay. Like if it's just you strictly pay X amount of dollars, you tell them what you're looking for, they hand you they match you with a VA, you pay whatever their fee is, and off you go. And good luck, right? But most of the time, the way these models work is that you work through them. And the rate, and you think, wow, this is a pretty low rate that they're charging me, right? Maybe they charge you $10 an hour for that VA. Guess what? They're paying that VA $2 an hour, right? That's exploitation. That is not what we're teaching. We ask the VA, how much do you want to make? And they tell us, well, it is still incredibly low. Some people will say $3 US an hour. We say, no. We're not going to start that low. We'll start as low as $5 an hour, which is a living wage, but not, we don't keep it there. We keep turning up the volume. So as your business grows, they grow, which leads me to answer Kay's question. So Kay says, potential payroll company told me I need to hire in the US from a tax perspective. Does this program help match with candidates? Does the program help with job applications, setting up legal and HR systems to have an employee? Let's start with the last question first. First of all, they're not technically an employee. So what I teach you is like, we're pushing all the way up to the edge so that this feels very much like an employer-employee relationship. Okay, because you want this person to really feel like a part of your company and to grow with you for years. My main head executive VA is Nika. She's been with me for over 7 years. Okay, but technically she's a freelancer. And as far as the U.S. government is concerned, I don't have to do anything. There is a form that I give you to keep that. If you ever were needed to show something, to show proof, you would just say, here's the proof that this person that I'm giving money to is overseas. That's it. You don't do a W-9. Now you can declare the money that you spend on your taxes, but you're doing it as a business expense. I'm not going to tell you what category to put that in because I'm not a tax advisor, and we don't go deep into the program because it's irrelevant. So you don't have to worry about 1099s and W-2s and healthcare and any of that. But the culture that I'm trying to create here is one of true partnership. So I show you how to develop a relationship with this person who is going to truly be a part of your business for years, not a contractor like you would find on Fiverr or Upwork or even these agencies that we're talking about, because inevitably, because you might be with the same person for a while, but then they'll put you with someone else on the team. And then it's a lot of stop and starting. Of like having to re-educate, right? Who has time? It's a total headache. Who has time for that? So, okay. And attorneys have advised in my field to only do W-2, not 1099. Well, this is neither. This is neither. Do you see what I'm saying? A 1099 is what somebody gives you if they're a contractor in the United States, but this is neither. So I don't want to like get too deep in being a, tax advisor, but this I know for sure. And as far as helping to match you with a virtual assistant, all I'm going to say on that note is that we're going to do something pretty incredible. So if you're on our email list, you're going to see an announcement. I'm not going to say what that is, but something pretty amazing is coming down the path for the people who sign up for this program. Okay, so let's get back to this question I left hanging there. What have you seen in your business as a result of having Kathy help you in terms of productivity, efficiency, revenue?
Look, I mean, she is taking on work that I was doing before, right? From the corner of my desk or sitting with my laptop while watching Netflix kind of thing. So she's taken off a lot of the chores that you have to do as a CEO. I mean, that to me is, you can't put a dollar number to it, right? What she's also created is this level of support, and like she's the backbone for our organization. And I have 7 people in my team right now, and she touches almost every single person's desk with her tasks.
Wow.
So that's huge. I mean, before she started working with me, I was doing the daily emails and creating posts. And did they ever get done? Probably not. So, work gets done. Let's just say that, because we have so many other things. And again, there's a lot of guilt around, like, I should be doing this and I should be doing that. But we only have 24 hours in our day, and who wants to be working around the clock? So there's a lot of things that I was happy to like offload. And let's face it, it's almost like a reverse accountability. Like if I've given it to her, she gets it done. If I give it to myself, who's going to hold me accountable? So it's
that's a good point.
That way, stuff actually gets checked off.
Sibanil, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. You can have that list right now. Nika's going to put a link in the chat. We have a list of 160 some odd tasks that you can outsource to a virtual assistant. And really, that's just a fraction, because you'll see that once you get going, thanks, Nika. Once you get going, like it grows 10 heads. You're like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. Which leads me to another question, Salimah. What about stuff you've had to ask Kathy to do that you don't know how to do? Has that come up? And how do you handle that?
Yeah, multiple times. So one of the other things, I think it's just a couple of questions ago, we were talking about processes and systems as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was actually through your training too. I never even thought of asking Kathy to put together my SOPs. We never had them that formalized. So you give some great examples to get them to do it, like the tasks that they're doing. So I followed your process to the T, and now we have SOPs, so that if we do have a new person, or if Kathy moves up into another role, she can easily train someone else, because now we have standard processes.
Yeah.
But your question was doing the task. Like, there's so many things, right? Like now there's ChatGPT, and we're all trying to learn how that works and how to, like, there's a new AI coming up, and then there's new changes happening on social media, and there's new changes happening on Entreport, and there's new changes. So things change, and I don't have time to keep up with everything. So I just ask her, can you go and research this and let me know what we need to know about this, and how do we train our designers about what they need to know? So recently I did a training on ChatGPT, which was like nobody in the design world had heard of before. And now they're like, they can't live without it, thanks to Kathy and all the research that she had done. So there's a lot of things that come up all the time that we don't have the time to learn. So she's a great learner.
So so you outsource your learning, you outsource your research. I mean, you literally do. And it makes so much sense because, I used to be, I'm a techie person. So I sort of felt like I needed to know all the things. And then I realized like, I really don't. And it's been so liberating to say, would you go please learn this? And not knowing how to do it actually is so liberating. Do you know what I mean? Because I can't do it if I don't know how to do it. Pinterest is my favorite example.
Yes.
I have my VA learn how to do Pinterest. I got a course for her. She learned it. She wanted to. She executed it. Bye-bye. I don't have to do that ever. And I don't want to do that. So
it's even more challenging for designers who I work with. They're not primarily tech people. They're primarily not marketing people. Like you and I can catch a trend, kind of translate it and do this quite quickly. Yet we don't have the time to. So then we outsource it to Kathy's and Nika's of the world. But for designers, it's a complete foreign language, right? Like they're so immersed in the design world that to learn Entreport, to learn MailChimp, to learn how to set up a landing page or Pinterest and Reels and video editing, that's like tertiary to what they normally do, where their headspace is at. So learning, it's like learning a new language every single day. So you have someone who's dedicated for that. And here's another little tangent, but really important for designers, because I noticed some of our friends are here as well from our program. I've always said, like, when you're looking to outsource, when you're looking to hire a VA, there is a hierarchy that I like to recommend to interior designers, and maybe it'll help other professionals as well. But the first one you want to outsource is your personal house stuff, right? Like if you can get somebody to help you mow the lawn or shovel the snow where I live,
laundry,
do the laundry, like, come on, right? That you become like, right now I'm in between somebody. And so you become like the $100 or $150 laundry person if you don't have someone taking care of that. Then the second role that I like to suggest to our clients to outsource is the marketing functions, right? That's not in your wheelhouse. We teach them how to think like a marketer and be more strategic and intentional with their marketing and lead generation. But the actual doing doesn't have to be done by you, right? So they can outsource that to someone who can put the post together on Canva. They can edit their content and schedule things on multiple channels, right? Like that can be outsourced. And right then and there, you will save yourself 4 hours a day, probably, right? If you count all the emails, newsletters,
easily,
and social media and blogging and putting together landing pages, that's like 4 or 5 hours daily if you're starting out and if you do it consistently. So that really is the second task that I suggest people outsource. Then the third one is your business tasks, right? Like invoicing, making sure you're sending out invoices so you get paid on time. That's critical. And making sure that you're also paying your trades and suppliers on time, and all of the, making sure that the contractors on site and the mood boards are signed off, and all of that business setup is being done. Like you're getting the samples from the suppliers that somebody has to go deliver back to them, or arrange for an Uber or UPS to pick it up. Those tasks would be the third thing, like your day-to-day business, office, admin tasks. And a VA can do it very effectively.
I love it.
You have that also, like there's 50 other tasks that you can pull just from that document that Nika shared. And then the fourth assistant to look for designers would be a design assistant. And so again, if you're a lawyer, I would hire like a legal assistant as last, because that's really your passion. That's what your wheelhouse is. It's hard to give up your baby. So get rid of the stuff that's not in your wheelhouse, that doesn't light you up, so that you can focus on the task you're meant to do. By outsourcing all of this other stuff, now I'm able to spend more time with our clients in the coaching and the feedback and the mentorship that we provide. I wouldn't be able to do that if I'm sitting at the desk putting out content all the time.
I love it. Thank you so much, Salimah. This was so helpful. I really appreciate it. Where do people go if they want to learn more about you? And yeah.
Fullybookeddesigner.com.
Yeah, I like the shirt.